Today is a great day. We're in a car that looks familiar to one I've actually driven before. It's a Maserati Levante S. I've actually, one of the first cars I ever reviewed in the driven series was the Maserati Levante, but the diesel version. And it was the first one they released actually. They only released the diesel model. And I really liked the car, but then I realized that I liked it more from the viewpoint of an SUV. It was an amazing off-roading vehicle. It had the hallmarks of a Maserati visually. But what I realized is the drive didn't quite live up to the other models like the Ghibli or the Gran Turismo or even the Quattroporta. So what I'm really glad to see is they've done this Levante S, which is a V6, 430 brake horsepower. So it's more akin to what people attribute Maserati to being. And this is the model year 19 edition. So there's a few little tweaks here and there, which I'll go through. It's got the carbon matte twill interior, which is a really nice finish as an addition. Also, it's got the new gear stick, which is a bit of a change. But anyway, let me get this started. We'll get on the road and I'll show you guys what this can do. The last time I drove a Levante, it was more about the off-roading, and it passed that with full aplomb. There was no problems whatsoever. But the one thing for me about a Maserati is how it handles on a normal drive, the quick aggressive drive, and the Levante S is the perfect car to test that out. So basically, I'm going to take this around and we'll have a bit of fun with it and see what we can do. Now, the first thing I noticed with the Levante S straight away is that I'm not even in sport mode, I'm in normal mode, but when you put your foot down, it goes. I mean, that's obviously implicit with the petrol car when you're comparing it with a diesel, but it's very reassuring. It really makes you feel, it gives you that encouragement that you're going to have a lot of fun in this car. When you put it in sport mode and change suspension, you actually lower the car by about 20 millimeters, which will lower the profile and give it an even more aggressive line, which will make it even more tighter on the road and even more fun to drive. So I'm looking forward to testing that out. So when you think of the Levante S, what cars are you looking at in the same quarter category? Well, really, it's the kind of cars, the Porsche Cayenne S and the Range Rover Sport. Now, when you're looking at the price of the Levante S, we're looking at something around the 70,000 entry point. We're just in the normal mode now and it's pretty punchy. You can feel it, the handling's tight. This is the first time I've driven it on a main road before, I'll say, and it does feel quite nimble and agile. These roads are pretty tight, but the car itself does handle pretty nicely. I haven't been able to put my foot down as of yet because of traffic, but it feels really agile. I mean, I have driven Range Rover Sport before and the Porsche Cayenne. The Porsche Cayenne is very aggressive, very throaty, and I think this one feels a bit more like that than definitely more so than the other versions of the Levante. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. In terms of drive, it actually reminds me a lot of the Ghibli S, which I drove before. It has that same sort of aggressive feel to it, the sharpness on the accelerator, the tightness in the handling, and we're yet to even put it in sport mode. So the outlook's good, to say the least. Right, we've got a bit of open road now, so I'm actually going to put it in sport mode. See if we can hear the engine change. Hello. It's suddenly come alive. It's a lot sharper. I'll try not to go. There you go. You can hear it. It gives you that extra punch. Very aggressive on the switch up as well. It has got the brake paddles. Sorry, the gear change paddles behind the wheel, so you can go full manual if you want to. But at the moment, I don't feel the need. It's aggressive enough without being too, how you say, too crazy and too... Well, let me just drive for a bit. And what you really notice is that you don't actually feel the bumps that much. This road isn't smooth. It's very potholey, but you wouldn't have thought so the way this car's taking it and at speed. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You can tell. If you had a big open road and room to play, you could go crazy. You could just imagine it's got a beautiful big boot space. You could just imagine it's the kind of car you'd like to take up to the mountains, take it up the Alps, pack your skis and just drive up there. It'd be a beautiful vehicle up there, elegant across along the skyline. And that's one thing I will say, the styling of the car, visually on the exterior, has got people a bit mixed. Some say it's a bit too simple, but I find it's elegant. It's very, very Maserati, and this drive certainly is. So now I've had a bit of a play with it. I'm really enjoying the interior. The new gear stick, it's a subtle change, but the fact that you can just quickly access, before you used to have to hold down the sport button in order to change the suspension and the drive, the powertrain, but now you've got two separate buttons, so you can quickly adjust each of them on the go, which is really handy. And also the styling wise, it's very elegant. I mean, this particular styling, this is a GranSport model, so it's actually, with all the extras, this is around about 94,000 on the road, 94,000 pounds that is. So it's a lot more than the standard price Levante S, but it has got a lot more for that money. Like I mentioned, the carbon twill, the matte twill interior is a really sleek look. Plus it's got all the home comforts, the 12 multi-directional seat adjustments, for example, and all the features you'd expect in a car like this. So it definitely doesn't disappoint on that front. So how would I summarize the Levante S model year 19? Now, I have to say that this is more like it. That's what I'd say, is this is more like it. I love the V6, the diesel, and I love the entry-level petrol 350 bhp model. But there's something that this car does that is very much more Maserati than those, which is makes you smile. To put it shortly, this is a Maserati. They've got it right. They've managed to translate that Maserati drive into an SUV model. It took a couple of goes, but in this car, they've absolutely nailed it. So a massive, massive thumbs up from me. Wonderful, 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 wonderful.